Emma Cole had missed her stop. Lost in her phone, the subway doors had long since closed. The train was moving now, pulling away from her destination, deeper into the tunnel. "Damn it," she muttered. It was 11:47 p.m., the last train of the night. If she got off at the next stop, she'd have a 30-minute wait for a train back. Or she could walk 20 blocks in the dark. Neither option sounded appealing. Emma glanced around the subway car. It was half full. There were about 15 people present, all silent, all staring into nothingness. It was a typical scene in late-night New York, and yet something was wrong. She couldn't identify what was wrong, just a feeling. She felt a tingling sensation on the back of her neck. The fluorescent lights flickered. The train rattled, and Emma noticed something odd. No one was looking at their phones in New York. The subway was bustling with activity, near midnight, and not a single person was scrolling on a screen. They were all just sitting. They all sat with their hands resting comfortably in their laps, eyes forward, perfectly still. Have you ever been in a room full of people and felt utterly alone? Have you ever experienced a moment when something feels wrong, but you can't quite identify what it is? Emma felt it now, strong, overwhelming. She stood up, walked toward the door connecting to the next car. Maybe it would feel more normal in there. But as she reached for the door, an old woman spoke. "I wouldn't do that if I were you." Emma turned. The woman was 3 rows back. White hair, dark coat. His eyes reflected the flickering lights. "Excuse me?" "The next car." The woman smiled. "It's worse." "How is it worse?" The woman didn't answer. She just kept smiling. Her teeth were very white, very sharp. The train rattled violently. The lights cut out completely. For 3 seconds, everything was dark. When the lights came back on, the old woman was sitting right next to Emma. She hadn't moved, hadn't walked. She had just appeared. "What the—" Emma stumbled backward. "Sit down, dear," the woman said gently. "We need to talk." Emma's heart was pounding. She looked around the car. Everyone else was still motionless. She continued to gaze forward. "Who are you?" Emma asked. "My name is Margaret, and I've been looking for you for a very long time." The old woman gestured to the seat. "Please sit. You're perfectly safe for now." "For now?" "The others won't harm you. They won't harm you without your permission, and I haven't given that permission." Margaret's smile widened. "Not yet." Emma sat. Not because she wanted to. Her legs gave out. "What is going on?" she whispered. "You're on the last train." Margaret folded her hands in her lap. "With the special one. The one that runs only once a month. The one carrying us to our new territory. Us? Vampires, dear. Every single person on this train." Margaret looked around the car with affection. "We're migrating. New York is getting too hot. Too many hunters. There is an excessive amount of attention directed towards New York, so we're moving to Chicago. To fresh hunting grounds, Emma's. Mind refused to process the words. Vampires. The concept of migration and hunting grounds was unfathomable to Emma. It was insane. Impossible. But looking at the motionless passengers, she knew it was true. "Why am I here?" Emma asked. I'm not one of you." "No, you're not." "Not yet." Margaret tilted her head. "Tell me, Emma, what do you know about your mother?" The question hit like a slap. "My mother? Could you please explain how this relates to her?" "Everything. Your mother's name was Catherine Cole. Birth name, Catherine Thorne. She vanished 28 years ago. She left her family without saying a word. Changed her name. Went into hiding." Margaret's eyes gleamed. "Do you know why?" Emma's mouth was dry. Her mother had always been secretive about her past. Never talked about her family. Never said where she came from. "She was running from us," Margaret said. "From her responsibilities. From her bloodline. From her throne." "Throne?" "Your mother was of the vampire royalty, Emma, daughter of Queen Vivian. Heir to the Eastern Court. And when the Queen died 3 months ago, the throne passed to the next in line." Margaret leaned in. "To you," the train swayed. The lights flickered, and Emma's world turned upside down. "That's insane," she said. "I'm not a vampire. I'm not royalty. I'm an accountant from Brooklyn." "You're both," Margaret said. "You're human by choice. You're royalty by blood. Your mother kept you hidden. Your mother raised you in a normal manner.
But blood doesn't lie."
And now that the Queen is dead, the court needs an heir. I would rather not be an heir." "That's not your choice anymore." Margaret gestured to the other passengers. "This train is taking you to Chicago. To the court. You'll be crowned. Undergo the transformation. Take your rightful place. And if I refuse? Margaret's smile faded. There are 200 vampires on this train. All of them are hungry. All of them are loyal to the court. If you refuse the throne, you will simply become food. The word hung in the air. Food. Emma looked at the motionless passengers again. They weren't staring at nothing. They were staring at her. Waiting. Hungry. This is the moment when you realize you're not the hunter. You're the prey. There's no escape. How long until we get to Chicago? Emma asked. 6 hours. The train makes no stops. No interruptions. Just straight through to your coronation. Margaret stood up. I suggest you get comfortable and think about your decision. The choice is yours. Those are your options. She walked away. She settled back into her original seat. She sat back and remained motionless, just like the others. Emma sat alone, surrounded by vampires, trapped on a train going 70 miles per hour in the dark. The first hour passed in silence. Emma tried her phone. No signal. The train was too deep underground. She tried the emergency brake. It didn't work. Someone had disabled it. She tried the doors between cars. All locked. She was trapped. Completely. Utterly. Trapped. Around her, the vampires sat perfectly still.
Not breathing.
Not moving. Like statues. But their eyes followed her. Every movement. Every breath. Emma forced herself to think. To plan. There had to be a way out. Her mother had escaped this life. Hidden for almost 30 years. If she could do it, Emma could too. But first, she needed information. Emma stood up. She made her way to the vampire who was seated closest to her. The vampire seated closest to Emma was a young man. The man appeared to be about 25 years old. The man was attired in a suit. Perfectly groomed. Excuse me, Emma said. The man's eyes shifted to her. Yes? Can you tell me about the court? Could you explain what will happen when we arrive in Chicago? The man smiled. You'll be presented to the council. The council will present you to the old families. They'll verify your bloodline. Then you'll choose. Choose what? To accept the throne and transform, or refuse and die. Simple. He tilted his head. Most choose transformation. Death is so final. What if I run when we get there? The man laughed. Soft. Cold. You're a human in a city of vampires. Where would you go? How long do you think you'd last? An hour, maybe 2? Not long. Emma knew that. Can I ask you something else? She said. Of course. Why do you follow the court? Why do you care about royalty? The man's expression changed. Became serious. The Queen ensured our safety. Organized, controlled. Without leadership, we're just monsters fighting over scraps. With the Queen, we're a society. A civilization. He paused. We need you, Emma, more than you need us. He went silent again. The conversation was over. Emma moved through the car. Emma engaged in conversation with her fellow vampires. Learned more. The court had existed for 500 years. The Queen ruled absolutely. All vampires in the eastern United States owed her loyalty. When the Queen died, chaos began. Different factions are fighting for power. Vampires killing each other. Hunters exploited the chaos to their advantage. The court needed a new queen. Fast. Before everything fell apart, Emma was the only heir, and Emma was the only heir. What happened to my grandmother? Emma asked an older woman vampire. How did she die? Old age, believe it or not. The woman smiled sadly. Even vampires don't live forever. 1,500 years was her limit. She simply stopped. She vanished into the ether. Peaceful. It had been 1,500 years. Emma couldn't imagine it. Emma struggled to comprehend the existence of such a person. Did she know about me? Emma asked. Did she know my mother had a daughter? Yes, she knew. She waited for Catherine to come back. She longed for Catherine to return, to welcome you home. But Catherine never did. The woman's eyes were kind. Your mother loved you more than she loved her crown. That's rare. Most of us would choose power over everything. The word settled heavy in Emma's chest. Her mother had given up immortality, power, a throne, all to keep Emma human. And now Emma was being dragged back into the world her mother had died to escape from. 2 hours into the journey, Margaret approached again. Have you decided? She asked. I need more information, Emma said. What does the transformation involve? 3 days of pain. Your body dies and is reborn. Your heart slows to 1 beat per minute. Your senses sharpen. You become stronger, faster, nearly immortal. And the hunger? You'll need blood. You'll require blood roughly once a week. We have ethical sources now. Blood banks. Willing donors. You won't have to hunt humans. Only if you want to. But I could. Yes, you could. Margaret sat down across from her. Being a vampire isn't evil, Emma. It's just different. You can be a wonderful person. You can be a just ruler. Help our kind survive without causing harm. That's what your grandmother did. That's what we hope you'll do. Emma wanted to believe her. Wanted to think she could be turned into a vampire and still be herself. But she'd seen too many horror movies. Read too many books. Vampires always lost their humanity eventually, didn't they? What if I'm a bad queen? Emma asked. What if I can't handle it? Then the council will remove you, permanently. Margaret's voice was matter of fact. The throne demands strength, wisdom, control. If you can't provide that, someone else will take your place. By killing me. Yes. At least she was honest. 3 hours in, Emma tried something desperate. She walked to the front of the car. She walked to the door that led to the conductor's cabin. A vampire stood guard. Tall, muscular, expressionless. I need to speak to the conductor, Emma said. No, I just want to ask questions. No, I'm the heir. I am the future queen. You have to let me— You're not queen yet, so no? The vampire's eyes were flat, dead. Sit down. Stop causing trouble, Emma glared at him. When I'm queen, you're fired. The vampire almost smiled. Almost. We'll see. She went back to her seat. Frustrated. Scared. She found herself unsure of what to do. Around her, the vampires remained motionless. Patient. They had all the time in the world. Emma had 6 hours. 3 left. 4 hours in, something changed. The train slowed down, not stopping, just slowing. The vampires stirred. Heads turned. Alert now, Margaret stood up. We're approaching the barrier. What barrier? Emma asked, between territories. New York court jurisdiction ends. Chicago court begins. There's a neutral zone, 2 miles of tunnel where neither court has authority. Margaret's expression was tense. It's dangerous. Rogue vampires hide there. The ones who reject court rule. How dangerous? Very. Stay quiet.
Stay still.
Don't draw attention. The train slowed more. The train crawled through the tunnel at a speed of approximately 10 miles per hour. The lights flickered, dimmed. The darkness pressed closer. Emma heard something. A sound emanated from the exterior of the train. Scraping. The sound of scraping echoed through the train. Then she saw them. She could see their faces in the darkness. Their faces were pressed against the windows. Pale. Wild. Their eyes were filled with a radiant red glow. They were referred to as rogue vampires. They clung to the outside of the train. They numbered in the dozens, maybe hundreds. They were scratching away at the glass. Attempts were made to gain entry. One of the windows cracked. Everyone down! Margaret shouted. The vampires in the car moved. Finally moved. Fast. Coordinated. They formed a barrier between Emma and the windows, protecting her. The air was valuable. The air had to survive. Glass shattered. A rogue vampire crashed through the window. He landed in the car. Snarling, feral. 3 court vampires attacked it. They tore it apart. The rogue exploded into ash. More windows broke. More rogues poured in. The car erupted into chaos. Emma pressed herself into the corner. Emma watched as vampires engaged in combat with each other. Fast. Brutal. Deadly. Have you ever watched 2 predators fight? When do you realize how fragile you are compared to them? How easily could they destroy you? Emma feels it now. Small. Human. Helpless. The fight lasted 3 minutes, maybe less. When it was over, 5 court vampires were dead. They were reduced to ashes, but all the rogues were gone. The train sped up again. The train departed from the neutral zone. Margaret appeared at Emma's side. She was bleeding. There was a gash on her arm, but it was already healing. Are you hurt? Margaret asked. No, I'm fine. Emma's voice shook. Why did they attack? Because you're the heir. If they kill you, there's no legitimate ruler. The court falls apart. Chaos. Margaret pressed a cloth to her wound. Rogues thrive in chaos? They knew I was on this train. Yes, we have traitors, spies. It's why we need a queen so desperately. We need a leader who can bring us together, bring order back. Emma looked at the ash on the floor. The floor was littered with the remains of deceased vampires. Both rogue and court, all of this because of her, because of who her mother was, because of blood she didn't ask for. 2 hours left, Margaret said. You should decide soon. It's either the crown or death. When we arrive, you will have a mere 5 minutes to make your decision. No more. She walked away. She left Emma alone with her thoughts. 2 hours. 120 minutes. The total time was 7,200 seconds. She had to decide whether she wanted to transform into a monster or not. Emma was sitting in the corner of the train car. She was surrounded by ash and broken glass. Her mind was racing. 2 hours. That was all the time she had left. She thought of her mother, Catherine Cole. She was raised by her mother, Catherine Cole, alone, without family. She had no history to draw from. It was just the two of them who faced the world. Her mother had died 2 years ago. Cancer, fast, vicious. She vanished within a span of 6 months. She had never told Emma the truth. She had kept all information about vampires, queens, and courts to herself. Why? Was it to keep her safe? Could it be a deliberate attempt to ensnare her? Emma didn't know anymore. A young vampire woman approached. She looked maybe 23.
Red hair, sad eyes. May I sit down?
She asked. Emma nodded. The woman sat. She clasped her hands in her lap. My name is Claire. I turned 5 years ago. Car accident. I was dying. A vampire named David saved me. Turned me. Why are you telling me this? Emma asked. Because I see the fear in your eyes. The doubt. I felt the same thing. Claire's voice was soft. I didn't want to be a vampire. I didn't want this. But David gave me a choice. Die as a human. Or live as something else. What did you choose? Yeah, I chose to live, obviously. And you know what? It's not as bad as you think. I still see my family. They don't know what I am, but I see them. I still work. I still have friends. I just do it at night. And once a week I need blood. From where? The blood bank. I volunteer at a hospital. They give me expired bags. Blood that would be thrown away anyway. Claire smiled. I haven't hurt anyone. I haven't killed anyone. I'm still me, just different. Emma wanted to believe her, but something held her back. Do you miss it? Emma asked. Being human? Eating food? Going outside in the sun without being in pain? Claire was silent for a moment. Yes, I miss those things, but I don't miss dying. I don't miss being weak, being the prey. She looked at Emma. You have a unique opportunity that most people never receive. Most vampires are turned by force. This transformation occurs against their will. You get to decide. That's a gift? Some gift. Be a monster or die. You don't become a monster unless you choose to be one. Claire stood up. And as queen, you could change things. You could make rules that protect humans. You could control the violent vampires. You could save lives. She walked away. She left Emma with more questions than answers. Emma stood up. She paced the train car. She was trying to think clearly. If she refused the throne, she would die. Tonight, in Chicago, she was surrounded by vampires who viewed her as food. If she accepted their offer, she would be transformed into something inhuman. She would rule a vampire court. She would live for centuries. She would watch everyone she knew age and die while she remained unchanged. Both choices were terrible, but one choice let her live. Have you ever faced a choice where both paths led to loss? Where there was no good answer, only less bad ones? Emma stopped. She looked at Margaret. The old woman was sitting still again. Waiting. Margaret, Emma called out. The woman's head turned. Yes? Tell me about my grandmother. The Queen, what was she like? Margaret smiled. Come sit down with me. Emma sat across from Margaret. The old vampire's eyes were distant, remembering. Queen Vivian was born in 1542, in France. She was turned during a plague outbreak. The vampire who made her thought he was saving her life. Margaret's voice was gentle. She was 23, beautiful, brilliant, and furious at what she'd become. Why furious? Because she'd had plans, a life, a future, and it was stolen from her, just like yours is being stolen now. Margaret met Emma's eyes, but Vivian didn't let that destroy her. She used her anger, built something from it, created the court. The vampires of Europe united, then came to America and did the same here. How? By being fair, just she made rules. She strictly prohibited the act of killing humans without a valid cause. She prohibited the act of turning people without their consent. No exposure. She kept us hidden, safe. And in return, we followed her. Margaret leaned forward. She wasn't perfect. She made mistakes. But she tried. Every day for 1,500 years, she tried to be better than her nature. Emma absorbed the words. Try to imagine living that long. Emma tried to imagine living that long. Did she ever regret it? Emma asked. Becoming queen? Every day. But she never regretted staying alive. And neither will you. The train lurched. Changed tracks. A sign they were getting closer to Chicago. Emma checked the time on a clock on the wall. 1 hour and 20 minutes left. Her heart hammered. She was running out of time. A vampire man approached. Middle-aged looking. Glasses. Professional. Emma Cole. Yes, my name is Thomas. I'm on the council. I am a member of one of the 5 families that advise the Queen. He sat down without asking. I wanted to speak with you before we arrive. Explain what will happen. Okay. When we reach Chicago, you'll be taken to the court, an old theater we've converted into our headquarters. The council will verify your bloodline. We'll test your blood. Confirm you're Catherine's daughter. Vivian's granddaughter. And then you'll stand before the court. Every vampire in Chicago will be there. Maybe 800. You'll be asked one question. Do you accept the throne? What if I say no? Thomas's expression didn't change. Then you'll be executed. Quickly, painlessly, and we'll search for another heir. Catherine had a sister. Maybe she had children. We'll find someone. And if I say yes, you'll be crowned. You will have 3 days to prepare. Then you'll undergo the transformation. When you wake, you'll be queen. You'll rule. You'll make decisions that affect thousands of vampires. You'll be responsible for keeping our society together. The weight of it pressed down on Emma. Responsibility for thousands of lives. For centuries. I'm 27, Emma said. I'm an accountant. I do taxes. I'm not qualified to rule anyone. Neither was Vivienne when she started. She learned. You will too. Thomas stood up. 1 hour left. I suggest you decide. He walked away. Emma was alone again. She found herself surrounded by vampires who required her to conform to their expectations. She thought about her apartment, her job, her friends. She lived a normal, boring human life. She had always wanted more. Adventure, excitement, purpose. Be careful what you wish for. Emma laughed. It came out bitter, broken. A young vampire looked over. Are you okay? No, not even a little bit. Yeah, that's fair. He smiled sympathetically. In my opinion, you have the potential to be a positive influence. You care. That's rare. How do you know I care? Because you're still asking questions. I'm still trying to understand. A bad person would just accept the power. Use it for themselves.
You're worried about doing the right thing.
That's how I know. Maybe he was right. Maybe caring was enough. Or maybe Emma was about to become something terrible and just didn't know it yet. 45 minutes left. Emma walked to the back of the car. Emma moved away from the other vampires. She needed space. Silence. She needed time to reflect. But her mind wouldn't stop racing. What would her mother want? Would Catherine want Emma to accept the throne? Or refuse and die human? Emma wished she could ask. She wished her mother was here to guide her. But Catherine had kept this secret for 28 years. That had to mean something. She didn't want Emma to be part of this world. Or maybe she did. Maybe keeping the secret was protection. She allowed Emma to grow up normally. Strong. Emma was well prepared for this moment. Emma would never know. The train began to slow. Not stopping. Just reducing speed. They were entering Chicago's territory. Everyone prepare, Margaret announced. We'll arrive in 40 minutes. Emma, please make your decision. Now. Emma's hands shook. Her chest tightened. She couldn't breathe. This is what panic feels like. When time runs out and you're not ready. When faced with an impossible choice, you still have to make a decision. I need more time, Emma said. You don't have it. Decide now. Crown or death? Emma looked around the car. Emma glanced at the vampires who had defended her. Who had defended her? Who needed her? She thought about Claire. Claire was leading a normal life. Claire continued to spend time with her family, still herself. She thought about Vivian. She pondered over Vivian's 1,500 years of striving to transcend her inherent nature. She thought about the alternative. Death. Tonight. Quick, final. I'll do it, Emma whispered. What? Margaret leaned closer. I said I'll do it. Emma's voice was stronger now. I'll accept the throne. I'll transform. I'll be your queen, the car erupted. The car erupted, not with cheers but with relief. Vampires didn't cheer. Instead, they were filled with relief, visible, palpable. Margaret smiled. You made the right choice. Did I? Emma asked. You're alive. That's always the right choice. Maybe. Or maybe Emma had just agreed to become the thing she'd always feared. 30 minutes left. The train picked up speed. The train was rapidly approaching Chicago, toward the court, toward Emma's new life, or death. The outcome hinged on the success of the transformation. What if I don't survive the change? Emma asked Margaret. Then you don't. About 1 in 50 don't make it. Their bodies reject the venom. They die. Margaret's tone was matter-of-fact. But your bloodline is strong. Vivian's blood. Catherine's blood. You'll survive. 1 in 50. So there's a 2% chance I die anyway. Yes. Great odds. Emma laughed again. She was going to die either way. She was on the verge of a swift end. Alternatively, she faced a slow and painful death that could last 3 days. There is a slim possibility of survival. Why do vampires even have queens? Emma asked. Why not democracy, voting? Vampires are predators. Predators need hierarchy. Without it, we fight constantly. Kill each other. The strongest rule prevails. That's how nature works. Margaret tilted her head. You're the strongest now. By blood, by right. So you rule? I'm not strong. I'm human. I'm weak. Now you are. After the transformation, you'll be stronger than any of us. Royal blood is different. More powerful. That's why only your family can rule. And if I'm a terrible queen, then the council will remove you and crown someone else. Margaret's smile was sharp. So don't be terrible? No. Pressure. There are still 20 minutes to spare. Emma could see lights outside the train windows. Now Chicago. The city glowed in the darkness. Somewhere in that city was a theater full of vampires, waiting for their new queen. Emma's stomach twisted. She wanted to throw up, but she held it together. What happens first? She asked Thomas. He'd moved closer. Protective. You'll be presented. The council will verify your blood. Then you'll be crowned. Then you have 3 days. We'll give you a room. Privacy. Time to prepare mentally. And then the transformation. Yes, we'll bring you to the chamber. An ancient vampire named Marcus will perform the ritual. He's done the job for 500 years. He's the best. Ritual? I thought it was just a bite. It is. But there's ceremony. Words. Tradition. The queen isn't just turned. She's made. Thomas's voice was reverent. It's an honor. A privilege. Few vampires ever witness it. Emma didn't feel honored. She felt terrified. 10 minutes left. The train entered a tunnel. The tunnel was darker than the previous ones. Longer. This was it. This was the decisive moment. The vampires stood up. They formed a protective circle around Emma to ensure her safety. They were prepared to engage in combat should the rogues attempt another attack. But nothing happened. The tunnel was silent. Empty. They emerged into an underground station. This was not your typical subway stop. The scenery was something else. Ancient stone walls. The walls were adorned with torches instead of lights. Gothic arches. The train stopped at the court's private station. The train stopped. The doors opened. Outside, hundreds of vampires waited. They were arranged in neat rows. Silent. Watching. Margaret stood. Come, Emma, it's time. Emma's legs barely worked. But she stood. Walked to the door. This is the moment when your old life ends. When you step through the doorway into something unknown. Something permanent. Emma stepped off the train. She ventured into the throng of vampires. She entered her new life. Behind her, the train doors closed. The last train pulled away. She made her way back to New York. She had returned to her familiar world. It was a world she would never see again. The vampires parted. The vampires parted, creating a path. At the end stood 5 figures in dark robes. The council. Margaret walked beside Emma. Margaret guided Emma forward. Head up, Margaret whispered. You're their queen. Act like it? Emma lifted her chin. Emma straightened her shoulders. She exuded a sense of belonging. Fake it until you make it. Right? She reached the council. They bowed, not deep. The gesture was merely a slight tilt of the head. Respect. Recognition. The center figure spoke. Male. Old. The voice sounded as coarse as gravel. Emma Cole. Daughter of Catherine Thorne. Granddaughter of Queen Vivienne. You have been summoned to accept your birthright. Do you come willingly? Emma's voice didn't shake. Yes. Do you understand what the situation means? The responsibility? The sacrifice? The eternity? Yes. Do you accept the throne? Do you swear to rule with justice? To protect our kind? Do you swear to uphold the laws of the court? This was it. The moment. This was the final opportunity to withdraw. Emma thought of her mother, running, hiding, dying human. Emma thought of her grandmother, ruling, fighting. Imagine yourself living for 1,500 years. What would you choose? Would you choose safety or purpose? Would you prefer death or transformation? Is it preferable to embrace the comforting lie or confront the terrifying truth? I accept, Emma said. I swear. The council bowed deeper this time. Then you are queen, and we are yours to command. The crowd erupted. The audience didn't cheer. The sound was beyond Emma's ability to describe. Ancient. Inhuman. She acknowledged the power she possessed. She was queen. She was damned. She was alive. For now, Emma was escorted through the underground station, up the stone steps. She walked through corridors that were lit by torches with no visible fuel. The theater appeared at the end of the long corridor. Massive doors carved with images of bats, wolves, and things Emma couldn't identify. The doors opened. The moment Emma stepped inside, her breath hitched. The theater was enormous. The theater towered 4 tiers high. There were balconies lining the sides of the theater, and every seat was full. The event was attended by 800 vampires, all standing. All eyes were fixed on her. Total silence. Margaret approached. Walk to the stage. Don't run. Don't hesitate. You are their queen now. Act like it. Emma walked down the center aisle. She walked past rows of vampires who bowed as she passed. Their eyes tracked her, hungry, curious, judging. The stage waited. A throne stood at the center. It was neither gold nor ornate. Simple. Stone. Ancient. The stone has been smoothed by centuries of rulers. Emma climbed the steps. She stood before the throne. She refrained from taking a seat. Not yet. The council followed her onto the stage. Forming a semicircle behind her, the eldest spoke. His voice carried across the theater without being raised. Vampires of Chicago, children of the night. The throne has been empty for 3 months. The queen is dead. Long live the queen. He gestured to Emma. Emma Cole. Blood of Vivian, blood of the first. She has accepted the crown. In 3 days she will turn, and she will rule as long as she is worthy. The crowd responded in unison. Long live the queen! The sound washed over Emma like a wave. The sound carried the weight of 800 voices. She was speaking solely with her mouth. She was truly doing this. She was truly becoming their ruler. Sit. The eldest member of the council said quietly. Your people must see you upon the throne. Emma sat. The stone was cold, smooth. It fit her perfectly, as if it had been waiting for her. The crowd bowed. The crowd of 800 people bowed in perfect synchronization. The crowd bowed in perfect synchronization. Emma's chest constricted. This was real. This was happening. There was no turning back. After the ceremony, they took Emma to her room. It was more than just a room. A suite. Enormous. The suite is beautifully decorated with shades of dark reds and blacks. Gothic furniture. Candles everywhere. A 4-poster bed that looked like it belonged in a castle. This was your grandmother's, Margaret said. Everything here was hers. We preserved it, waiting for the next queen. Emma walked through the space, touched the furniture. The books are on the shelves. The paintings on the walls. Her grandmother had lived here, slept here. Her grandmother ruled from this location, and now Emma would do the same. You have 3 days to prepare, Margaret said. Learn about the court, meet the important families, understand the politics. Then you transform. What if I change my mind? Emma asked. Margaret's expression didn't change. Then you die. We've announced you to the court. You've sat on the throne. You're committed now. Back out. And you're just a human who knows too much. We can't let you leave, prisoner. Emma was a prisoner. Emma was both crowned and caged. Get some rest, Margaret said. Tomorrow your education begins. She left. The door closed. The door was locked from the outside. Emma was alone. She walked to the window. Emma gazed out at the city of Chicago. The city glowed. Millions of people are living their lives, unaware that beneath them, Vampires ruled the night. Emma pressed her forehead against the glass, closed her eyes. "What did I do?" she whispered. No one answered. Day 1. They woke Emma at sunset. A servant vampire brought clothes, dark, elegant, queenly. Emma dressed. She looked at herself in the mirror. She looked like someone else, someone important, someone powerful. But inside, she was still just Emma. Scared. Alone. She is overwhelmed by the situation. Margaret arrived. "Ready?" "No." "Good. That means you're smart." Margaret smiled. "Come. The council wants to meet with you, privately, explain how things work." They walked through the theater. They proceeded down additional corridors. They entered a chamber that resembled a boardroom. Modern, out of place in this Gothic world. The 5 council members sat at a table. They stood when Emma entered. Emma gestured towards the front seat. Emma sat. They sat. The eldest spoke. "My name is Cornelius. I've been on the council for 400 years. I knew your grandmother well." "Did you like her?" Emma asked. Cornelius smiled. "Not always, but I respected her. She was fair, just, and she kept us safe. That's what matters." The woman to his left spoke. African, beautiful, ancient eyes. "I'm Amara. I handle disputes between vampires. When they fight, I judge who's right, who's wrong, who lives, who dies." The man next to her. Asian. Quiet. "I'm Kenji. I manage our finances. Vampires need money, property, investments. I make sure we have them." I am the woman at the end of the line. Young-looking, red hair, sharp eyes. "I'm Siobhan. I handle humans. I am responsible for ensuring that they are unaware of our presence. I am responsible for rectifying any errors that may have occurred, erasing memories when necessary." He was the last man to leave. Middle-aged looking, tired. "Thomas, you met me on the train. I handle relationships with other courts. New York, Los Angeles, London, making sure we don't go to war with each other." Emma looked at them. 5 vampires, centuries old. They are in charge of a shadow government. "What do you need from me?" she asked. "Leadership," Cornelius said simply. "The final word on difficult decisions." The face of the court. "It serves as a symbol that unites us. You don't have to know everything. We'll teach you. We'll advise you, but you have to be willing to lead. What will happen if I am not good at leading? Then we'll remove you, gently if possible, violently if necessary." His tone was matter-of-fact. "The court is bigger than any one vampire, even the queen. If you fail, we replace you. That's how we've survived for centuries. Honest, brutal, but honest." Have you ever started a job knowing they'll fire you if you mess up? When the stakes aren't just your career but your life? Emma took a deep breath. "Okay, teach me. I'll learn. I'll try. That's all we ask," Amara said. "Trying is enough, for now." They spent the day teaching Emma about the court. 800 vampires resided in Chicago, organized into families. There are 12 prominent vampire families in Chicago. Each family holds its own territory. Each family operated its own businesses, its own rules. The queen kept them in line, settled disputes, made laws, enforced order. Without a queen, the families fought, killed each other, destroyed the balance. 3 vampires have died in the past month, Thomas explained. Family feuds, territory disputes. It's getting worse. We need you transformed soon, before everything falls apart. Emma absorbed the information. She made an effort to recall names, faces, power dynamics. It was overwhelming. It was akin to absorbing the entirety of the government in just 3 days. But she tried, took notes, asked questions, did her best. Cornelius watched her carefully. "You're smart." "Good. Smart queens last longer than powerful ones." "How long did my grandmother last?" Emma asked. Emma replied, "She reigned for 1,500 years. Her reign was the longest in the history of vampires, but she was smart and powerful. Rare combination. Do you think I can do it?" Cornelius was quiet for a moment. "I think you'll surprise yourself. You're more like Vivian than you know." Emma hoped he was right. Day 2. They introduced Emma to the 12 family heads. Each one bowed, swore loyalty. Each of them planted a kiss on her hand, but Emma could see the doubt in their eyes. She was human, weak, unproven. They'd follow her because of her blood, but they didn't respect her. Not yet. One family head lingered. A woman, tall, beautiful, dangerous. Her name was Isabella. My queen, Isabella said. May I speak freely? Yes, you're a child. You know nothing of our world. You have no understanding of our customs. You'll be a disaster. Isabella's smile was sharp. But you're what we have. So I'll follow you, for now. Prove yourself worthy, or I'll kill you myself. Emma's first instinct was fear. But something else rose up, something darker, stronger. If you try to kill me, Emma said quietly, you'll die first. I promise you that. Isabella's eyes widened. Then she laughed. Maybe you are Vivian's blood after all? I look forward to serving you, my queen. She left, but the threat lingered. Emma realized something. Being queen meant people wanted her dead, wanted her throne, wanted her power. She'd have to be strong, ruthless, or she wouldn't survive. That night, Emma couldn't sleep. She paced her room. She pondered over the changes she'd undergone. She contemplated the changes she had undergone. There was a knock on the door. Margaret entered. Can't sleep? Margaret asked. No, too much in my head. That's normal. Every queen feels this way before transformation. Your grandmother told me she almost ran the night before, almost walked into the sun. Why didn't she? Because she wanted to see what she'd become. She wanted to see if she could handle it. Curiosity won over fear. Margaret sat down. You're curious too. I can see it. You want to know what you're capable of? Emma nodded. Is that wrong? No, that's human. And you should hold on to that. After transformation, your humanity is all that separates you from monsters like Isabella. Margaret's expression was kind. Don't lose yourself, Emma. No matter how long you live, stay human in your heart. How do I do that? By caring, by trying, by making the hard choices and regretting them. Margaret stood. Get some rest. Tomorrow is your last day as human. Make it count. She left. Emma was alone again. She went to the window, looked at the city. Tomorrow night, she'd be a vampire. Ruler, queen, different, but hopefully still herself. Day 3. It was the final day. Emma woke early. Emma took a leisurely stroll through the theater. Alone, she bid farewell to her human existence. She found herself in the main hall. The throne sat empty. The throne was waiting for her arrival. Emma climbed onto the stage, stood before it. However, Emma refrained from taking a seat. Are you afraid? Emma turned. An old vampire stood in the shadows. Ancient. She could feel his age radiating from him. Yes, Emma said. Terrified? Good. Fear keeps you careful, keeps you alive. He stepped into the light. My name is Marcus. I'm the one who will transform you tonight. He is the vampire who has been transforming people for 500 years. The best. Does it hurt? Emma asked. Yes, it hurts more than anything you've ever experienced. Your body will die. Your heart will stop. Then the venom will bring you back, changed, stronger. But the pain is... Marcus paused. Necessary. The price of immortality. What if I don't survive? Then you don't. Your body rejects the venom. You die. We burn your corpse and find another heir. His tone was clinical. But you're strong. Royal blood. You'll survive. You sound very sure. I am. I've seen thousands transform. I know who makes it and who doesn't. You'll make it. Emma wanted to believe him. What happens after? When I wake up? You'll be hungry, starving. The first feed is always the worst. We'll have blood ready. You'll drink. The hunger will fade. And then you'll be queen. Really queen. Forever, forever. The word echoed in Emma's head. Any advice? Emma asked. Marcus smiled. Rare. Hold on to your name. When the venom burns through you, you'll want to let go. You will yearn to dissolve into nothingness. Just hunger. Just instinct. But hold on to your name. Hold on to who you are. That's how you stay yourself. Emma Cole. Yes. Emma Cole. Emma Cole is an accountant who hails from Brooklyn, daughter of Catherine, granddaughter of Vivian, queen of the Eastern Court. Don't forget. He walked away. He left Emma alone with the throne. She sat down. She took a moment to reflect, felt the weight of it, the responsibility, the power. Tonight she'd die. Tomorrow she'd be reborn. Different. Powerful. Queen. Hopefully, Emma Cole is still alive. Sunset came too fast. They dressed Emma in white, traditional. The color was symbolic of death, of rebirth. Margaret walked with her to the chamber. The chamber is located deep beneath the theater. Stone walls. The walls of the theater are adorned with ancient symbols The transformation chamber was the focal point of the scene. 800 vampires lined the corridors, watching, silent, bearing witness. Emma's hands shook, but she walked steadily, head high, queenly. The chamber was circular. The chamber featured a stone altar at its center. The chamber was surrounded by candles. The council stood in a circle, waiting. Marcus stood by the altar. "Emma Cole, are you ready?" No, she wasn't ready. She would never be prepared. "Yes," Emma said. She climbed onto the altar, lay down. The stone was cold, smooth, comfortable somehow. The 800 vampires filed into the chamber, filled it, wall to wall, all watching. Marcus leaned over her. "The last chance to back out?" "No backing out. Let's do this," he smiled. "You'll be a great queen." Then his eyes went black. His fangs extended. His fangs were noticeably longer than normal, ancient fangs. These fangs were specifically designed for this purpose. "Hold. Onto your name," he whispered. His fangs sank into her neck. The pain was immediate, searing. It felt as intense as fire coursing through her veins. Emma screamed. She was unable to control her emotions. The pain was too much, too intense. Her heart raced, then slowed. Slower, slower, slower. 1 beat. 2. 3. Stop. She died. Emma Cole died on that altar. Vampires surrounded her in her final moments. The event occurred in the depths of Chicago's darkness, and something else was born. Emma woke to darkness. It wasn't the darkness of closed eyes that greeted her. Absolute darkness. It felt as if she were buried alive, but she could see. She could see every stone in the ceiling, every crack, every shadow. It was as clear as day. Her hearing exploded. She could hear 800 heartbeats. No, not heartbeats. Vampires didn't have heartbeats. Breathing. She could hear 800 vampires breathing. Each one is distinct, different. And she could smell everything. Blood. Old blood. New blood. She senses human blood hovering, somewhere above her. Fresh. Alive. The voice was calling to her. Emma sat up. The hunger hit her like a truck. Overwhelming. All-consuming. She needed blood. Now, immediately. Or she'd die. Except she was already dead. Easy. Marcus's voice. Calm. Close. The hunger is normal. "We have blood ready." "Don't fight it." Someone handed her a bag. The bag contained a medical blood sample. Still warm. Fresh. Emma grabbed it. Tore it open with her teeth. Drank. The blood tasted like heaven. It tasted like everything she'd ever needed. The taste was akin to the essence of life itself. But it wasn't enough. One bag wasn't enough. She needed more. She required fresh blood. She felt compelled to hunt. Needed to... "Emma!" Marcus placed his hand on her shoulder. Firm. Grounding. "Your name? Remember your name, Emma," she gasped. "Emma Cole." The hunger receded. Slightly. The food was sufficient for her to think clearly. She looked down at her hands. Pale. Smooth. Perfect. Not her hands. "Vampire hands. How do you feel?" Marcus asked. "Hungry? Strong? Different?" Emma's voice sounded wrong. Too smooth. Too controlled. "How long was I out?" 3 days. "Your body took longer than expected. But you survived. 3 days." She'd been dead for 3 days. Emma stood. The room tilted. Then it righted itself. Her balance was perfect. Superhuman. She could feel the power in her muscles. She could sense the strength in her bones. She could probably lift a car, break through walls, move faster than humans could see. "Welcome back, my queen," Cornelius said. He stepped forward, bowed. "You've been reborn." The 800 vampires bowed. They all bowed simultaneously. They bowed in perfect synchronization. "Long live the queen," they said in unison. Emma looked at them, really looked. She could see things she couldn't before. The age in their eyes. The powers in their blood. They were arranged in a hierarchy. She was at the top. Above them all. Queen. And she could feel it. The authority. She had the right to rule. It was in her blood now, permanent. What happens now? Emma asked. "Now you rule," Margaret said. She smiled. Proud. "Welcome to immortality." They took Emma back to her suite. She needed to feed again. Properly. They brought her more blood bags. She drank 6. The hunger finally faded to a dull ache. Manageable. You'll need to feed once a week, Margaret explained. More if you use your powers heavily, less if you're careful. Every vampire is different. Powers? Emma asked. Your royalty. Queen's blood. You're stronger than normal vampires. Faster, your senses are sharper, and you can command other vampires. Make them obey without question. Command them how? With your voice, your will. Royal blood carries authority. When you speak with intent, vampires must listen, must obey. It's how queens rule. Emma tested it, looked at Margaret. Emma focused her will. Sit, Emma said. Margaret's eyes widened. Then she sat. Immediately, no hesitation. No choice, that's... Emma stopped. Emma released the command. That's terrifying. That's power, Margaret said.
She stood back up.
Use it wisely. Abuse it and the council will remove you, but use it when necessary. The purpose is to uphold the established order, to protect the court. Emma nodded. She had power now, real power. This power had the potential to either save or destroy lives. She had to be careful, cautious. That night, they held a feast. They were celebrating Emma's transformation, celebrating the new queen. The theater's main hall was filled. There were 800 vampires present. Music, dancing, blood served in crystal glasses. Emma sat on her throne. She wore a black dress. Emma wore a silver crown. She exuded an air of royalty. However, she couldn't help but feel like an imposter. The family heads approached one by one, swore loyalty, offered gifts, blood, money, territory, whatever they thought would win favor. Emma accepted gracefully, said the right words. She confidently assumed the role. But inside, she was still just Emma. Scared, uncertain, pretending. Isabella approached. She confronted the vampire who had threatened her. She bowed low. My queen, I was wrong to doubt you. You carry power like your grandmother. I am yours to command. Was it sincere or manipulation? Emma couldn't tell. Thank you, Isabella. I'll remember your loyalty. Isabella smiled, sharp, dangerous. I'm sure you will. She walked away. Emma mentally recorded the information. Watch Isabella. She's trouble. The feast continued for hours. Emma drank blood. She conversed with the vampires. She gained knowledge about names, faces, and politics. Then Cornelius approached. His expression was grim. My queen, we have a problem. Emma's stomach dropped. What kind of problem? The issue she was referring to was a family dispute. The Northside family is in conflict with the Westside family. They're fighting over territory. 3 vampires have died tonight. If we don't stop it, it'll turn into a war. Emma stood. Take me there. My queen, you just transformed 3 days ago. You're not ready. I said take me there. Emma used the command voice. Authority. Power. Cornelius bowed. Yes, my queen. They drove through Chicago. Fast. Emma sat in the back of a black car. Emma was accompanied by Margaret and Thomas. What exactly is happening? Emma asked. 2 families share a border. North Side and West Side. For years they've had peace. But the North Side family wants to expand. They're pushing into West Side territory. West Side is pushing back, violently. How many dead? 3 tonight. This week the count has increased to 5. The number could increase further if we don't take action now. Emma's jaw tightened. This is because we didn't have a queen. This is because there was no one available to settle disputes. Yes. Then let's settle it. They arrived at an industrial area. Warehouses, dark streets. Emma could smell blood. Fresh. Recent. 2 groups of vampires faced each other. There were approximately 20 vampires on either side. Tense. Both groups were prepared for a fight. Emma stepped out of the car. Both groups turned. Stared. Who the hell are you? One vampire shouted. Emma walked forward. Calm. Powerful. I'm your queen. And this battle ends now. Have you ever walked into a fight and made everyone stop just by being there? When your presence alone commands respect, Emma feels it now. Empowerment radiated from her. She felt a sense of authority in her blood. The vampires stared. Then one by one they bowed. My queen, they murmured. We didn't know you'd transformed. I did. That was 3 days ago. And now I'm here to end this stupidity. Emma looked at both groups. Who leads the North Side family? A vampire stepped forward, tall, scarred. I do, Vincent. And West Side? Another vampire, female, strong. I do, Maria. Good. Now tell me what you're fighting about. Vincent spoke first. West Side has prime hunting territory. Downtown, business district, rich humans, easy targets. My family is stuck in the suburbs. Thin pickings. We need better territory. So you're killing for it? Emma asked. We're taking what we deserve. Emma turned to Maria. And you? We have maintained control of downtown for 200 years. Vincent wants to steal it. We're defending what's ours. Both sides thought they were right. Both sides were willing to kill for it. Emma took a deep breath. Here's what's going to happen. Vincent, you want better hunting grounds? Yes, my queen. You'll have them. However, they won't be found in the downtown area. The industrial district is the place to find them. There are fewer people in this area, yet they are employed as workers. Blue-collar, healthy, good blood. You'll share it with West Side. 50-50. Vincent frowned. But I'm not done. Emma's voice hardened. Maria, you keep downtown, but you'll pay a tax. 10% of all blood hunted goes to the court. We'll distribute it to families who need it, including North Side. That's not fair. Maria started. Silence. Emma used the command voice. Full power. Both vampires went rigid. They were unable to speak. I am queen. I decide what's fair. You follow or you die. Choose. The silence stretched. 30 seconds. A minute. Then Vincent bowed. I accept, my queen. Maria hesitated, then bowed. I accept. Emma released the command. Good. If I hear about more fighting, I'll execute both family heads. Personally. Understood? Yes, my queen. They dispersed. The fight was over. The fight ended abruptly. Emma turned to Margaret. Did I just abuse my power? No, you used it correctly, firmly, but fairly. Both families got something. Both families gave something.
That's a favorable ruling. It felt wrong.
Forcing them to obey. Sometimes forcing obedience is the only way to save lives. Margaret smiled. You did well. Vivian would be proud. Maybe. Or maybe Emma had just started down a dark path. Emma was using power because she had the ability to do so. She wasn't acting out of obligation. Time would tell. They returned to the theater. Emma was exhausted, not physically. Vampires didn't get physically tired, but mentally, emotionally, drained. Get some rest, Cornelia said. Tomorrow we have more disputes to settle, more families to manage. Being queen is endless work. Emma went to her suite, locked the door, collapsed on the bed. She'd been queen for 3 days, and already she'd threatened vampires, used command voice, made life and death decisions. Was this who she was now? A ruler who forced obedience through power? Or was she just doing what was necessary to keep the peace? Emma didn't know anymore. She looked at her hands, pale. Vampire hands, not Emma Cole's hands. Queen hands. She missed being human. She missed the simplicity of life, the weakness, the mortality. Being powerful was lonely, terrifying, heavy. But she'd chosen this. She had graciously accepted the crown. Transformed. There was no going back. Emma closed her eyes. Emma attempted to drift off to sleep. But vampires didn't really sleep. They just rested, mind active. Always aware, she wondered if she'd ever feel normal again, ever feel like herself, or if Emma Cole had died on that altar, and only the queen remained. A knock on the door. Emma sat up. Come in. Thomas entered. His expression was urgent. My queen, we have a situation. What now? The New York court. They've sent a representative. He's asking to meet with you tonight. Why? I don't know. But New York doesn't send representatives without reason. It's either an alliance offer or a threat. Emma stood. Bring him in. Are you sure? You're still new. Still learning. Maybe let the council handle. I said bring him in. Emma used the command voice. Softly, but firmly. Thomas bowed. Yes, my queen. 5 minutes later, a vampire entered. Young-looking. 25 maybe. But his eyes were ancient. Dangerous. My queen. He bowed. My name is Adrian. I represent the New York court. I bring a message from our acting leader. What message? New York claims your mother, Catherine Thorne. She was ours before she ran. She died in our territory. That makes you New York property, not Chicago. Adrian's smile was cold. We want you to return. Rule New York, or we'll take you by force. The room went silent. Thomas and Margaret tensed. They were prepared for a fight. Emma looked at Adrian, this vampire who just threatened her. In her court, in front of her people. You know that feeling when someone crosses a line they shouldn't? When they disrespect you in your home? Emma stood, walked toward Adrian, slowly, powerfully. Let me make something very clear, Emma said quietly. I am not property. I am not yours. I am Queen of Chicago. I have been crowned and transformed. My bloodline makes me legitimate. My power makes me dangerous. And your threat makes you stupid. Adrian's smile faded. The New York court has 8,000 vampires. You have 800. We outnumber you 10 to 1. You can't win a war? Maybe not. But I can kill you. Right now, before you leave this room. Emma's eyes went black. Her fangs extended. Want to test me? Adrian stepped back. I'm a messenger. Killing me would be satisfying. Emma smiled. Cold, queenly. Tell your acting leader this. Chicago is mine, I am mine. If New York wants war, we'll give it to them. But they'll lose more than they gain. And if they send another threatening messenger, I'll send them back in pieces. Adrian stared, then bowed. I'll deliver your message. Good, now get out of my court. He left, fast. The door closed behind him. Thomas exhaled. My queen, you just threatened New York. They'll retaliate. This could start a war. Let it. I'm not going to be bullied during my first week as queen. If New York wants to fight, we'll fight. But they'll learn to respect me. One way or another? Margaret smiled. Vivian used to say the same thing. You really are her granddaughter. Emma hoped so. Because she'd just made a powerful enemy. And if New York came for her, she'd need all of Vivian's strength to survive. The week after Emma threatened New York passed in tense silence. No war came. No retaliation. Just waiting. Emma spent her days learning. Meeting families. Settling disputes. Being queen, and slowly she got better at it. The command voice became natural. The hunger became manageable. The power became familiar. She was changing, not just physically, mentally. She was determined to become the queen her people deserved. On the 7th day, Margaret brought news. New York responded, she said. Emma's chest tightened. War? No, respect, Margaret smiled. They withdrew their claim. They asserted that you had demonstrated your worth, that Vivian's blood runs true. Relief flooded through Emma. They're backing down? Yes, your threat worked. They don't want war with a queen who stands her ground. It's more valuable to have you as an ally than an enemy. Emma laughed. She'd gambled, threatened a court 10 times her size, and won. Maybe she could do this after all. That night, Emma stood on the theater's roof, looking at Chicago. The city was now hers. Her responsibility. Thomas joined her. How do you feel? Different, stronger, but still me, I think. Emma glanced at him. Am I still me? More than you were. The Emma who got on that train was scared, lost, running from nothing toward nothing. Thomas leaned on the railing. The Emma standing here is queen, powerful, purposeful. You found yourself by becoming something else. Maybe he was right. Maybe losing her humanity had helped her find her purpose. Do you think I'll be a good queen? Emma asked. I think you already are. The council called an emergency meeting. Emma arrived expecting bad news. Instead, they smiled. My queen, Cornelia said. We've received messages from every major court. Los Angeles, London, Tokyo, all of them acknowledge your rule, recognize your authority. You are officially Queen of the Eastern Court. Emma sat down. That's good, right? That's exceptional, Amara said. Most new queens take years to gain recognition. You did it in 1 week. You're legitimate now, fully, completely. The weight settled on Emma's shoulders. Real. Permanent. She was queen. Not just in name. In fact, what happens now? She asked. Now you rule, Cornelia said. For as long as you can. This is contingent upon your deservingness. As long as you keep us safe, Emma nodded. Then let's get to work. Epilogue. A year had passed. Emma sat on her throne. Emma found herself engrossed in a dispute between 2 families. Boring, tedious, but necessary. She settled it fairly. Both sides left satisfied. She continued her reign as queen. Margaret approached. You've changed, have I? Yes, you command without hesitation now. You rule without fear. You're not the scared girl from the train anymore. Emma smiled. No, I'm not. But she's still in here. Still me. I haven't lost her. Good. Don't ever lose her. That's what makes you different from other queens. You remember being human. You remember being powerless. That empathy makes you better. Emma thought about her mother, Catherine. Emma was reminded of Catherine, who had fled from this life. Catherine made a decision to prioritize humanity over power. Emma had chosen differently, accepted the crown. Emma had fully embraced the darkness, but she understood her mother now. The weight, the responsibility, the fear of losing oneself was overwhelming. Catherine had been strong. Running took courage, but staying took courage too. Have you ever discovered that the thing you feared most was precisely what you needed? Did the path you dreaded lead you home? Emma had found her purpose in the last place she expected, on a train full of vampires, in a throne she never wanted. She was living a life she had never chosen, but it was her life now, her throne, her people, and she'd protect them, rule them, keep them safe. She was determined to protect them for as long as possible. She would protect them for as long as she felt worthy. Queen Emma Cole. Vampire, ruler, still herself. The train had brought her here, but she'd stay by choice. She was willing to stay for as long as necessary, and forever was a very long time. The end.